hope everyone likes my Halloween intro. I worked hard on it, so let's get it. Hello everyone and welcome back to KDTV. This month is going to be super duper special because it's Halloween season, it's spooky season, and it's my favorite season. And today I'm dressed as a wolf. Ow! Welcome back, guys. It's officially October 1st. It's Halloween time. We're doing spooky things. Have a lot planned for you this month. So please go ahead and follow me on Instagram. Follow my TikTok. It's the same exact name for both because I'm going to be posting schedules on there as far as this month goes and what I have planned that I want to share with you all my spooky treats and tricks that I have for you guys are going to be there in an organized fashion. Plenty of TikToks coming out this month, so please follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, all those things, yeah, all about Halloween this month is all about spooky season. And specifically today's topic, we're going to talk about the history of Halloween and how Halloween became Halloween, if that makes sense. So without further ado, let's hear that jingle. Okay guys, it is Halloween, so today we're going to be talking about the history of Halloween as a whole. The ancient origins of Halloween originate back to about 2,000 years ago in an area that is now Ireland, the UK, and France. So in that region, via this map, in that age Halloween was formerly known as a Celtic holiday, Samhain. It's spelled differently, I know, but just go with me, okay? Which translates to summer's end and is celebrated the day before All Saints' Day, which is November 1st. Samhain was also known as Hallows Eve. And if you've ever watched American Horror Story, in American Horror Story, the, not Coven, Roanoke. We're going to talk about colonial era too, so in the Roanoke, American Horror Story, they call it Hallows Eve instead of Halloween. So there's that little side note, fun little fact for you. To mark the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of dark, which was winter, which is the time of the year most associated with human death, which is the winter, because it's the colder season. People are more likely to get sick and to fall ill, so it's known as the season of death. So Samhain was more about rebirth and changing the seasons more than it was about like how we know Halloween as, which is like our spooky time and time for us to dress up and stuff like that. It's evolved so much. So originally it was a time that was associated with the rebirth and changing of the seasons. And by rebirth, it means like the end of the crop. So like the crops are harvested, so it's the end of the crop season, everything's dying out, and the whole cycle is starting over, basically. Celtic beliefs. They believed in the boundary of the worlds, and they also participated in bonfires, which are known as bonfires today. So Celts believe that on this night, the boundary between the living world and the dead became blurred, and they celebrated on this night because it was believed to be that the ghosts of the dead would return to Earth. Druids would build large sacred bonfires where people gathered to burn corpses of animals and sacrifice them. They threw bones of slaughtered cattle in the fires, which were the bone fires because they threw bones in, which later adapted to bonfires because they ended up gathering around like these giant fires and celebrated. Like nowadays it's like, oh, bonfire, let's all go to the bonfire and just sit and spend time with each other. Because that's what we do now, but back then they were used for sacrificial festivities, like sacrificial parties. So during these celebrations, they would wear costumes, typically heads and skins of animals that they would sacrifice or kill, and they would attempt to tell each other's fortunes, their future. to about 43 AD. The Roman Empire conquered most of Celtic's territory, and the two festivals of Roman origin and Samhain combined with each other. First was Feralia, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Feralia, I don't know if I'm saying that right, which was traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead. And then there was a day to honor Pomona, which was the goddess of the fruit trees. She was symbolized by apples. Okay, so now we're moving into something we know more about, which is the colonial era, and this is where a lot of apple activities began and other kinds of traditions began. So during the colonial era, the legend had it the first person who would pull out an apple from a water-filled bucket without using his or her hands would be the first one to marry. This is where bobbing for apples comes place. This is why bobbing for apples is mostly associated with like Halloween and fall time, because apples are typically harvested in the fall. Apple season is in the fall, so that's when they're most likely harvested. And then they would do this and create this tradition where if you bobbed first, then you would marry. But nowadays, I remember when I was a kid, whenever we would bob for apples, it would be like, if you pull the apple up first, then you get a prize or candy or something. So I guess it's even more adapted since then, based off culture and culture changes in the United States. So yeah, they didn't stick to the same old, they changed it up. And another thing that people would do was one apple related tradition for young women was to peel an apple at the stroke of midnight and then throw the peel over their shoulder, and whatever letter, because I don't know that it would land in a letter, I guess it was up to your imagination. Whatever letter that, oh that was country, whatever letter that the peel landed in on the ground was the first initial of the man that you were supposedly supposed to marry as a woman. I don't know who thought of that. I don't know how these people thought of that. I don't know. And another ritual that was created was at the stroke of midnight, people would hold a candlelight and look in front of a mirror for their future husband's face was supposed to appear at midnight whenever they held the candle in front of it, which honestly would freak me out. Like, I don't want to, that's weird. I don't know, that's weird. That would freak me out. But then that tradition adapted to someone whose name I will not say. You can figure it out. I'm sure if you're from the United States, then you know. Or if you've seen any horror movie, then you know of this. So next, Halloween came to the United States. What they were doing during the colonial era was more just like them still celebrating like the past stuff from European countries, but the influence began more as the colonial period progressed and immigrants started to come over. Then Halloween was more celebrated, but it was very limited in New England because of the Protestant beliefs, and there was a lot of British like leaders were more in New England, and Halloween was more celebrated in the southern states for like Maryland and below. And as the belief and customs of European ethnic groups and Native Americans started to mesh between each other, Halloween was celebrated as like parties now instead of like sacrificing and bonfire sacrifices and stuff like that. Halloween was celebrated as these play parties. People gathered to celebrate the harvest and to tell stories of the dead, ghost stories, fortunes, sing, and they'd also dance around the bonfires like they would in the European countries. The second half of the 19th century, new immigrants came to America from Ireland who were super duper key on contributing to the growth of Halloween and to the evolution of Halloween as we know it today. Alright, next we're going to talk about trick-or-treating. So using European traditions and borrowing customs for them, Americans began to dress up in costumes like they would in European countries. And they would go to house, instead of trick-or-treating how we know it today, they would go house to house and beg for food and money. In the late 1800s, there was a huge push to make Halloween a holiday about community and neighborly. So it became, instead of it just being like parties, it was more like an involvement of the community and festivals and things like that. And people would also start to like prank each other, which is where the tricks and trick-or-treating became a thing. And it got super chaotic to the point where the government was like, you need to calm down, like you need to relax. We're gonna try and change this holiday to where it's more celebration. There was like a huge vandalism incident that happened in the United States, and that's what made the government be like, okay, calm the hell down, like go sit in a corner, just relax. So that happened, and now Halloween is more about, and when people say trick or treat, it's more of just give me candy instead of I'm gonna scare the living daylights out of you right now, or like destroy your things. Yeah, so then Halloween grew even more. So Halloween parties became a huge thing. By the 1920s and 30s, it became a community-centered holiday with parades and town-wide parties and entertainment, and thus the new American tradition was born, and that is Halloween, once it became an actual holiday. There's also a research study where it says that around $6 billion annually from the U.S. is spent on Halloween a year, which is insane. It's the second largest holiday in the country, second to Christmas. So yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome if I do say so myself. And then next, and last but not least, we're going to talk about Halloween totems and kind of like superstitions and things of that nature that are like based around Halloween, but not necessarily like only about Halloween. One thing we're talking about is black cats. So I personally love black cats. I've loved black cats forever, since I used to watch The Brand Teenage Witch, like when I was like in middle school, elementary school. Yeah, when it was like a TV show, like a live TV show, like the old version. And I used to watch that. And I used to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm just a horror kid, man. I just like scary. I like gore. I like all of it. So black cats are kind of a jam. Black cats were always seen as bad luck. During the Middle Ages, there was beliefs that black cats were witches, because people would say that witches would turn themselves into black cats to avoid being captured or found out as a witch. So that's why people always associate black cats with bad luck or like death. Another thing, which dates back to like ancient Egyptian era, were like walking under ladders. So there was a superstition in Egypt because they believed that triangles were sacred, and to walk under one or through one was a big no-no. I don't know how that became a thing in the United States. I feel like personally, just me being me, it's dangerous to walk under ladders. People's parents used to be like, oh, it's bad luck to walk under a ladder, just so kids would like be scared of it and not do it to keep them more safe. So that's what I personally feel, but whatever. Yeah, and the last thing I'm gonna talk about today is Stinky Jack. Stinky Jack, and if you've ever seen the Nightmare Before Christmas, what is it? Is it the pumpkin head? Skull head? What is he? A pumpkin head? The leader, the pumpkin head. Yeah, Jack Go-Lantern. His name was Jack Go-Lantern. He's actually Stinky Jack. Like, his character is based around Stinky Jack. So Stinky Jack was a drunk but very clever con man back in Ireland who fooled the devil into banning him from hell, but due to his sinful life he could never enter heaven. Upon death he roamed the world carrying a small lantern made out of a turnip with red hot ember from hell burning inside of it that never went out. So kind of like how we do the pumpkins, he carved up a turnip that way and made like a lantern out of it with the ember in it. The Irish would carve out turnips when they went souling, which was like All Souls Day in Ireland, which is like now Halloween, but it's their version of Halloween, to protect themselves from the spirit and from spirits like Stinky Jack. After the Irish immigrated to America, they traded in the turnips for a pumpkin, since pumpkins are way easier to carve. Yeah, I think that's super interesting how there's such a dark history behind jack-o'-lanterns. Yeah, so like for me personally, whenever I think of like jack-o'-lanterns, I really just think of them as like a Halloween version of like a Christmas ornament, because it's like something we create and something that we touch and something that we use for festivities, decoration, whatever we use it for. I think it's cool how like something like so normal to us was really something that was used as like a totem to keep bad spirits away, which a lot of people don't know about. I think it's super cool, and I really enjoyed learning about it, and I hope you guys did too. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned something new. Yeah, stay tuned for everything I have planned this month. Stay tuned for all my content. There's going to be a lot of content. I really hope I get everything done that I have planned to get done so that you guys aren't let down, because I hate doing that. Make sure and check out my TikTok. Like, I will be posting like Halloween TikToks every single week. And every Friday I'm trying to put out a new video. This is like really new because last year we didn't get Halloween. because of quarantine and stuff like that. So just the fact that I get to do this for all of you is like really awesome. I've really been looking forward to Halloween, like since I started my YouTube channel, because I really wanted to put out Halloween content the entire month of October because it's my favorite holiday. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, follow me on these guys, and keep up with everything and see what's new and see what's coming out. Share your channels with me if you do anything for Halloween, or if you're doing like something special, or if you have a Halloween channel, or if you like scary stuff. Let me know down in the comments. Like, get my attention. Yeah, thanks guys for watching, and stay tuned for more. And yeah, I will see you guys next time here on KDTV. Bye everybody.